I'm having a little trouble hearing Shirley.
Okay.
St. Patrick's Day, 5/17. I think it's about 7:05. And I'll begin the process, not to be ungentlemanly, but just, I guess it's just got to begin somewhere. And it is I, Sean Holland, Chairman of the Board, Chairman President.
Shirley?
Okay. And you're leading the meeting, right?
Yeah, but he just did his
Yeah.
attendance announcement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shirley Mazinski, Vice Chair, and I'm at the meeting.
Mike Fitzpatrick, member at large.
Linda Brown, member.
We have a quorum.
Ginger,
Ginger Howe, member.
remote. Yep.
And,
Oh, so you want to say that?
Yeah.
and we do have Adam Furno in the audience to give us some support.
Great.
Okay, Sean?
So I take it we've addressed the first of the agenda meeting, which I'm assuming that's that board issue or of board members. So I guess the next item, Madam Vice Chairman, would be, and I apologize because I'm sitting here in my car and then, of course, my agenda is on my phone. And any assistance you could give me, I would be
Oh.
appreciative.
Oh, sure. The item 2 is the library and their ADA accessibility and so forth. And Adam, do you have any information on that? Because I have not heard.
I haven't heard anything about the library recently. It's been actually a while
Yeah.
since I've heard anything about the library.
Okay. The only thing, Matt, has given us is just ADA accessibility update, and I haven't heard anything either, so I think it's still ongoing.
The last I didn't hear was Justin was going to apply for the grant, I believe.
Right,
And that was it. I mean, that's been a while. I don't know
okay.
where that.
We'll have to check into that for the next meeting. Okay, item 3 is the green energy, and the status update is that we're still looking to participate in another competitive grant round of green energy funding pending the closeout of the police department HVAC project, which is now being reviewed by the Commonwealth. We just finished our grant reporting requirements. Leading candidates for green communities funding include the fire station, the HVAC, and the Old Town Hall varies. Adam has done a walk around with our new consultant to scope out these projects. So Adam, do you have any comments on those?
Sure. So I spent all last week off and on with our new consultant, some HVAC people, some lighting contractors, and weatherization company. So we've walked the fire station completely. We've walked which is the post office senior center, he calls the Old Town Hall, but, and we walked that building completely, and they are going to put their recommendations together to put a package forth back to the town, I guess, with which project they want to go forward with. So I have one more to meet. It's an electrician for the HVAC company, which I'm meeting, I believe it's Friday afternoon. So once that's done, the whole package, they can finish up, get their numbers and submit it to the town and figure out which project they want to go forward with.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Is that something that's going to be done through one of those state contractors?
I believe so. I'm not sure exactly how Green Communities funds work. I believe that it all gets done through this consultant that they hire, and then they hire outside companies to come in and work under that. So I'm not exactly sure how it works. I kind of just get told they're coming in and this is
Right.
what they're doing, so.
Right. I think the situation was that the energy group that was coming in before, I guess Matt wasn't too, or Bill wasn't too happy with. Remember when Bill was still here?
We've had some issues at the police department HVAC. The system they designed and had put in, it actually fights itself. It fights our old system. They didn't design it correctly because they left off a couple parts. Now the old system still has to run. with the new system. And so I've been in touch with the Commonwealth of the state. The lady had come out, we walked the building, we discussed everything. We have a conference call, I believe it's next week, to go over it more, but there's definitely some things that need to be fixed. Right now, those new units are completely off, and it's 76 in the police station.
Wow.
So the AC needs to run in winter in order to keep the police station. So it wasn't, they didn't think of everything, the way it's designed, and so I had my HVAC company come in, and they discussed it when it was first finished, and my HVAC company said, I think it's the wrong system for this. It works great in the library, where it's open, they're only open certain hours, but it doesn't work great with a police station where they're 24 hours, there's interior versus exterior, sunlight comes in this way, this person's hot, this person's cold.
Right.
They can't, they both can't have it the same, so if the police chief says he wants heat, but the sergeant says he wants air conditioning because his office is hotter,
Sure.
it has to run the heat up, or whichever one's on first, the heat will run up to the temperature, then the AC will kick on and bring it back down. It fights itself
Yeah.
the whole time, so
Understand.
it's a design issue that they have to work out
Right.
and figure out what's going to happen, so that's where we're at with that one.
Okay,
Question on that?
sure. Mike?
This project, that was just put through one of those state contractors. It didn't come before this committee, correct?
I don't know. Bill and Matt would have known
Yeah,
how that works.
I don't remember it coming,
No.
coming before us.
It's
This
just
is
that-
one of the examples why it would be beneficial for it to come before us,
Yeah,
just so we could have some input into it,
yeah,
Yeah,
to see if we could help with the process, so you're not stuck with it where you are now.
Yeah.
When you get these different state-approved contractors, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best ones out there. I think we had some issues with some weatherization from another company and another project in town, which again was a state-approved contract,
Yeah.
but that doesn't make them good.
yeah, oh, of course, yeah, I
Yeah.
understand that.
So, and I'm only bringing that up because you got the fire department that you're looking at now, and I think it would be important to have some input for the committee, so everybody could put their eyes on it and give their 2 cents for whatever it's worth.
Correct. And like I said, once they put the report out, that's not a problem to forward it off, or when Matt gets it. I mean, at least you'll actually be able to see something and know what they're proposing anyway.
Right,
Start with.
well, the Board of Selectmen designated this committee as the Green Committee.
yeah.
So all these green things
Should go through you.
should be coming to us,
Okay.
just out of courtesy, if nothing else.
That's right. Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Anyone else? Sean, any questions, comments?
No, thank you.
Ginger?
Ginger, you have anything?
No, I'm just curious as to where this is going to end up happening, going, being done, whatever.
Okay.
Adam's working on that, he'll get us some answers.
Yeah, he'll keep us posted,
Correct.
too.
And I think Adam's very reliable, so I'll wait for Adam.
Sounds good, thank you.
That sounds good, right.
He's not even going to be able to read anymore because his head's going to be so big.
No, I don't.
Okay, guys.
That's it, bad.
A big head once in a while.
Okay. If we're okay with the information we've got there, we'll move on to item 4, municipal backup generator. So Adam, you
Sure.
want to comment on that?
Sure. So the Capital Improvement Committee voted to recommend an additional $215,000
Yep.
for this project, which brings it up to $350,000. We did apply for their Community Compact Best Practices Grant, which we didn't receive. That's why we're back for the rest of the funding from the first time. And the first step is to achieve a professional design, and I believe Matt was working on an RFP that follows the guidelines of MGL Chapter 7, designer selection. So I know he had talked about it, and they were working on that. That's about as far as I know on that project. And I know, like I said, through various sources that the Capital Committee voted to
We did.
put that up, so.
Well, Mike and I are
Yeah,
on the
okay,
Capitol,
yeah,
and we
I-
did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's been hanging around too long and too many variances and items getting in the way. And if this is going to be the command center for emergencies,
Correct.
then we need to have backup generator.
Yeah, and I mean, and it also does help because the police department
Yeah.
will replace their old generator, which would be great, just so that way they can keep running.
It's all under.
It's all in one.
Yep. Anyone, questions?
Anybody, I have a
Mike?
question, but
Comment?
I want everybody
Sure.
else to.
I'm
No,
good.
nothing.
Okay.
Ginger, did she say anything?
She said she's good.
Okay.
You all set?
Linda?
Linda? So the only question I would have is, we have that 185,000.
35, 135.
130, I'm sorry, 135,000 that was voted at town meeting. Is the wording as such on the warrant that would allow us to use that to go for design? Because I know Gene's very particular because of the things that we.
I'd have to look at how it was worded.
Yeah.
It might be something that you want to look
I will.
into.
Okay.
Just to
Yep.
make
And
sure.
meant to remind
Yeah,
Matt,
correct.
too,
Yep.
that,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll have to look into it. I honestly don't know.
It
but-
could be fine, I just.
Yeah.
Yeah, I-
Second, because I hate to go through all this work and then Gene say, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got to come up with the money somewhere.
all right.
Yep.
Thanks, Adam.
No problem.
Okay, if no one else has any other comments, questions, we'll move on to item 5, Bad Luck Pond Outlet Bridge, possible votes. And I think we did finally get the bids, and the first one, the company withdrew, so they actually received 16 bids, but 15 of them were properly qualified. So do you have any other input, Adam?
Not on this. Basically, what it says here, I was there with the bid openings, and the next lowest bidder, the lowest bidder withdrew, was New England Building and Bridge Company of Providence, Rhode Island, and it looks like their bid was $649,210.75.
Yep.
So,
So,
Do you have any idea, is there any discussion as to when this is going to start?
I don't. I have
Okay.
nothing at the moment. Actually, John would probably be able to answer more of
Sure.
that, but I don't exactly know. I know the engineers are, been all in contact with John back and forth, but I don't know any more
Yeah.
than that.
well,
Mike?
in the body of this
Yep.
response from Matt, it says the company obtained all necessary bonding and signed the contract, which is being reviewed by town council as to form and executed, and the project will, wait a minute.
No, it has to go before the town.
Form and the town accountant for sufficiency of funding, whereupon it will be deemed executed and the project will begin when weather permits. So
Sure.
it looks like they may be, they've already, they have an order of conditions from Concom. All the takings have been filed with the registry of deeds, so it looks like it's going to happen
Good.
soon.
It's good. Yeah,
It won't be by Friday.
no,
Snow again.
I know.
Sean, any questions, comments on that?
No, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? No. We're good? Okay. All right, next item is municipal fire alarm. This has been around for quite some time.
Forever?
Yeah, there will be no progress on this project until the roof is fixed, which Capital is
That's-
recommending
Yeah,
the
Correct.
roof.
that'll be on,
Yeah, I can give a little update. So,
Sure.
about a week ago, the police department called me and said the panel's in a trouble mode downstairs. So the fire alarm company came in and basically said there's nothing they can do. It's going to stay in trouble mode until it's replaced, which we knew was coming.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose of this. So basically, right now, it is just in trouble mode. It's going to continue to remain in trouble mode. The alarm system will work and operate normally, but it's going to remain in trouble mode for now, and there's nothing they can do. So the panel is actually starting to die, and that's what they're telling me,
Yeah.
so.
We've been trying to get some input and do something with this for quite a few years.
Exactly, it's been
so-
keep going on.
Right.
And I mean,
It's all with money and how
Yeah.
much money and the design.
and to me, it's, like, and as it's been discussed, it's basically we need to start with the design, and after, once we
Yeah.
get the roof settled, because of course that needs to be done first, but the design needs to happen, that way we can, the way the fire alarm company has discussed it with me, just, there's a lot of, when this was a school, there's a lot of overkill now for offices versus a school.
Sure.
So they can remove a lot of items and shorten it down, but the scope basically needs to be drafted, and the design needs to happen, and then we can see at least where we're going to be at with the funding. So,
Right. Okay.
So Shirley, Mike, whoever it is I should be talking to,
Yeah, Shirley?
have a question.
Sure, Ginger.
How long is it going to take before we get down to brass tacks and things get fixed?
Well, again, because the roof has to be done, Adam's been
Yeah.
fixing roofs and
The le-
on and on it goes,
Let them
so
know that it's
So
been
how
voted on
long is it
capital.
going to be before the roof is fixed?
it will be on the agenda. Capital Committee recommended it for this town meeting. With one of, and hopefully it will get taken care of soon, and then we have to look at this. And in the meantime, maybe we'll come up with some input from different ones.
Correct.
And move forward for our next project. So, anyone? Mike? Linda?
No.
John?
No?
Okay. Everybody okay with that? All right.
Yes.
Another one is Municipal Gymnasium windows. So this is our next project that we've been, it's on hold pending the resolution of considerable discussion around the desired window type. Have you heard anything
I haven't
regarding?
heard anything. I assumed that was, when I read that, I assumed it was here at the board, so I didn't know what was discussed on that.
No.
I know we did have discussions with Bill a month and a half ago over there's different types of windows, how we're going to proceed with it, and then, like I said, then we had the roof issue when we started dealing with the roof, and
Right.
then the oil spill, which we'll get to, so that kind of got put on hold
So
in
we'll
discussion.
keep this on the agenda.
Yeah, please keep it on there, yeah.
Mike?
Yep,
We already voted in the money for this, for the windows?
yes.
Yes, I believe we did.
Okay, so if Adam could check with the town administrator and have him get some clarity as to who's got the issue with the different types of windows,
Okay.
and then maybe we could have those people come to our meeting and explain to us what they're looking for to help facilitate getting this thing accomplished at some point.
Okay.
It may make sense. If somebody has a legitimate
Yeah.
concern, whether it's the basketball league or whatever, because the sun shines in, or whatever's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's just going to get sidelined and it's not going to get
Yeah.
done.
The other thing, I think there was something with
Lead paint?
lead,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there was some lead paint, which,
Yeah.
yeah, lead paint's not that, I mean, it is a big deal, but not really compared to asbestos and that, you know.
RS.
But-
Yeah, but all the environmental testing's already been done.
Exactly, we've completed
We already
that.
identified all that.
Yep.
So it's just, now it's just a matter of coming up with a spec on the windows, which Bill was working on.
Right.
Adam and I had talked to him. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to complete that before his departure.
Yeah. The other thing, I think it was the timing of when
minute.
they were not using it. And
Correct.
so I think we were almost ready to go with,
Yeah, Bill was
We
working on it,
were very close.
yeah.
yeah. And then it was because of the timing and they were using the gym.
Yeah.
And so,
With COVID, it was a perfect time, and
Yeah.
knock on wood, you know,
Right.
to get that done, it really is. And it's still going on, I don't know, right now, I mean, we have until the fall if they're going to have a basketball season or not, I don't know, but it's still a perfect time.
Right.
in my eyes.
Ginger, you had a comment?
Just curious, Adam, is it you who are taking the lead on these windows? Who's taking the lead on these windows and what they should be?
That's the problem. There
Yeah.
is no lead anymore because we don't have that support system that we had previously.
You're saying that we don't have Bill anymore.
Yeah.
Correct, or anybody in that capacity, whether it's Bill or whoever, or it's,
Right, yeah, it doesn't have to be Bill, but we don't
Right.
have that capacity filled.
Correct.
no,
So meanwhile, back at the ranch, that means that we really don't have somebody who has expertise as to which windows would be best. Is that correct?
well, if you don't mind me.
No, please
Sure,
answer.
go ahead.
Please
Go
answer.
We had multiple discussions and input from different manufacturers, modern manufacturer and things like that, and I guess now, as of late, this was a surprise to me that people had different window types, because when Adam and I had spoke to Bill within the last 60 to 90 days, we're in the process of coming up with some specs so then we could save that money from going out to an engineer, because it's a pretty basic job. They're almost all the same size windows. I actually went in there with Bill and got up and climbed on top of the thing and looked at the different windows, how they were put in to help them come up with that situation. So this here, as far as the different window types, I'd be curious to see who it is that has a concern about it and give us that input. So it's going to be valuable to the committee anyways, because when we do pull the trigger on these windows,
Yeah.
we should have all that information.
And so, where are we actually at, technically, et cetera?
Well,
I mean, how long are we going to have to wait?
well, that's what I had just made the suggestion earlier, to ask Adam to check with the town administrator to find out
Yeah,
where the concerns are and get some information that way. And if we identify a particular group, like I said, maybe the basketball group or whatever, if those are the people that have certain requirements or requests, then they could join one of our meetings and explain what they're looking for, and then we could help come to a point where we could make that recommendation to get these windows straightened out. I think sidelining them isn't gonna accomplish anything.
no, and we agreed that they needed to be done.
Correct.
Because it was heating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're way beyond that. What we're wondering is, would it be sensible to set a deadline and say, by this time, we should have all of this information so we're ready to act? Because this has been dragging on for a long time now.
Well, I don't know if a deadline is actually gonna help. It may cause more of an issue. I think if we start off by asking for the information and see what we get before we get anxious about putting ultimatums out. I would.
I'm not talking about an ultimatum, but the information that we need to gather in order to make an intelligent decision.
Correct.
There should be the amount of time
Yep.
involved in getting that.
Yep, so I would suspect that Adam will reach out like I had suggested, and then he can respond back to
Yeah.
Shirley and Sean and let them know what they find, and then they'll make the decision as to what we do with that information.
Hopefully, it'll be ready for the next meeting.
Yeah,
We'll,
I can talk to the town
Keep in
administrator.
touch,
Yeah, absolutely.
and we'll see where we go.
Yeah, and all I'm saying, Ginger, is we have to start somewhere,
Yeah.
and if we just ask for the
Yeah, but we
information.
know who we need to get the information from, so we need to just get the information and move to the next step, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm not really sure how far Bill went. I know he was working on, Mike and I both talked to him, he really wanted to get it done before he left, so somewhere that documentation, that whatever he was working on, I'm not good with the RFPs and all that, and,
Right.
so Bill was, and that's why Bill was working on it,
I'll check with Maria and
not-
have her look in his file.
Yeah.
I'm sure he took care of all the stuff that he felt was important,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah, he apologized, he said he couldn't finish it, his goal was to finish it.
Yeah.
He couldn't, and,
Yeah.
I mean, if it needs, some language or something else, maybe we can, either town administrator or, I'm not sure what's happening with Bill's position, or if we have someone else coming
I
in,
know.
but, we can put it on the top of the pile there and
Sure.
try to move forward with it.
And so you'll get in touch
Yeah,
with Matt?
I'll talk to
And I'm
Matt.
going to
Yep.
check with Maria and see if there's anything in the files regarding those windows.
Okay.
Everybody good with that? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Sean.
Ginger?
Sort of.
Okay, thanks. All right, next item is the senior center flooring, and I know they've been anxious to get that done while the COVID's, we're still on restrictions, so,
Yeah,
Adam, do you have
Yep.
any?
so I've spoken with Patrice a couple times on this. She's been doing it all herself.
Yeah.
Just getting her quotes in the contractors. We went through different ones for abatement companies for the flooring and that. So she's been working on her quotes. I know in between feeding the seniors, trying to get them COVID vaccines, so she is working on it. I'm not exactly sure how many she has received at this time, but I know she's reached out to more than 3, and she was waiting for her numbers to come back.
She is a very busy person.
Absolutely.
Yes, trying to do everything. All right, we'll keep that on the agenda because the money, we did agree and vote and recommend that it be put on, and money's been voted on, so,
Yeah, capital actually.
Yep.
Did that as well. Yeah.
right. Everybody good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Oil spill.
You have public radio system on top, not that I'm
Oh,
cutting.
no, you skipped over to public radio.
That's
Yeah.
all.
Oh, I'm
The very bottom of the first
sorry.
page.
Yes,
That's all right.
public radio, yes, sorry. Anybody have information on that? Yes, there is a contract for goods and services and does not involve any public works or building construction outside of mounting a support for equipment onto the high school roof. The vendor has agreed to the town's contract comments, and the contract will soon be executed after review by town council as to form. All right, and I think that was one of my questions about at Capitol, about the tower on the high school. But evidently, it's in the contract and ready to go, and everything's okay. Anybody questions?
No?
John, you good?
No question.
All right. Next item, status of the oil spill. So
So-
what happened? Is
So,
that something you walked in and found?
oh, Ricky found it.
Ricky.
We were very fortunate that it happened on a Thursday night and a Friday morning, then a Saturday morning, and I didn't find it
Yeah.
till Monday.
Yeah,
So Ricky called me around 6 o'clock on a Friday morning and said he could smell oil. I arrived here at around 6:15 in the morning, and it was coming out from under the door in the boiler room. So I trudged through the oil, and the pump that pulls, we have a 6,000-gallon tank in the front lawn,
Yeah.
and we have a day tank that inside, and we have a vacuum pump that pulls from one tank to the other
Yeah.
to feed the boiler. Well, the pump, for some reason, never stopped running. It's supposed to shut off. It has floats, and it never stopped, and it kept running. So when I walked in, the pump was running, and the oil was coming out from all the ports above the day tank. It was just seeping out all over the floor, so it looks like it ran all night long.
Oh, boy.
Like that. So we lost approximately 300 gallons of oil on the floor. They're in the stages of cleaning it up. The oil's gone. Unfortunately, we had a lot of old pipes from the old boiler still underneath the floor, so the oil followed the pipes down. They're about 3-4 feet down in some spots. And, they're excavating, they're basically sucking it up all over the place and testing the soil to get down where it's, there's no levels in the oil that they're finding, and then they're putting the fill back. So they are in the process. They're probably, looking at it, they're probably maybe like 40% done. They still have a few other rooms, but the major part was in the boiler room, so, and they're down there. Mike and I just walked down there because I wanted to see what they did finished today.
Sure.
For estimates, I can read off my last email from the engineering firm that the insurance company has hired that oversees the whole project. Cost to date was $104,000, and estimated range of costs with all the tasks and everything at this point, now, again, this can change, is $364,000 to $400,000 for this work. So then, like I said, that is just estimated.
Yep.
Let's hope it stays that way. Let's hope it can be completed.
I have a question. Is that just for the cleanup or the repair of what?
So that's just the cleanup right now. So the repair, the town has hired an engineer. I'm not sure if they're still going to go back and forth on who's going to cover the repair and the design of a new system. So they're going to add more safety features, of course, at my request. I mean, you don't ever want this to happen again. So they're going to add more safety features. They're going to redesign it. So we hired an outside engineering firm from Millbury, and they're going to come in and design just a small little, basically just the day tank, and figure out how we can, check everything out. Obviously, the insurance company wants the floats and the switches, so they want to test them. They came out, they tried to test everything here. Nobody, not my boiler company, not them, could make it happen again. They've all tested them, but they can't make it happen. They have an electric contact switch that has the float, it goes with the floats. They believe the switch stuck, and it just, so they're going to have they're going to have that back at their shop, the insurance company's going to take it when we're done with it. Right now, I have to fill it every day manually, turn it on, turn it off, so that way
Yeah.
it doesn't happen again, again. So at this point, that's where we're at. I hope they can be wrapping it up soon. I'm sure the girls here would love for them to be wrapping it up very soon. But I hear the noise just coming in here. So yeah, that's where we're at. I don't think I have much more than that. And hopefully we can get something designed better than what was there. It worked.
Was that installed with the new boiler?
No, that was existing. So that was
It's
nothing.
been there a
It's been there.
long time.
That tank was replaced 7 years ago.
Okay.
The tank itself, the pump and all that was here before with Ricky. The tank I had replaced when I first started because the old tank, you could see the wall of it seeping. And I didn't, that's exactly why I had it replaced. And we
Sure.
put a double wall tank like the insurance company recommended, which would work if it had a little spill, but it was able to run all night long. So it filled up the double wall and out the top.
Oh, boy.
So, like I said, we had that replaced then, but the pump and all that was still it's all the same that was been here since they put the in-ground tank in '96, I believe. So they're going to go back and investigate everything there, and hopefully, I don't know how much they're going to cover for the new design,
Yeah.
but that Matt's going to have to work with them on that.
Sure.
Right now, we're still in the cleanup phase.
Okay, thank you, Adam. Anybody questions?
No.
Comments?
No questions.
All right, keep us posted, and we'll keep
Sure.
this on the
Oh, absolutely.
agenda to
Yep.
get an update. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, post office painting. What's the status of,
So Bill, Mike, and myself, when we did sit down for the gym windows, they graciously helped me come up with a scope, and Bill and Mike tweaked it. Like I said, I don't know how to do RFPs very well, I'm learning. So Bill tweaked it with language that needs to be in there, Mike tweaked it with things that, we don't want we want it to be better than what happened last time.
Yeah.
So we're working on that. So I took their scope, we edited it, everyone had their fingers on it and edited it, and I have 4 companies that came around and walked around. I'm just waiting for them to come back.
okay,
I gave them a deadline of April 1st, because we're going to need to start this between May 1st and has to be completed by June 26th, which will be the 6 months from the contract being signed.
okay,
I shouldn't say that, the contract, that they picked up the option, so it's 6 months, but
okay.
for that. So that's where we're at right now. Like I said, we did receive the funding, $60,000. I'm not sure where we're going to come in. I'm hoping to come in well below that, but I can't guarantee it. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Questions, anyone?
None?
No? No? Okay,
No.
again, keep us posted
Sure.
as to how that works out.
Yep, no problem.
All right, minutes we do not have because they've not been transcribed, but I'm sure we'll get them. Our next meeting is April 21st, according to our meeting schedule. Anyone have any input or comments, questions on anything that's wasn't reasonably anticipated in the past 48 hours prior to the meeting? Any questions, comments?
Question that could be, that you or Sean could ask the administrator, is it with this new position that they're looking to fill in community development, will we be getting support for this
Yeah,
committee
good question.
through that? Because we need help with this committee. It's a challenge for everybody to try to pick up that void that we have now.
Yes, Bill was very helpful, very knowledgeable, and was a good team. We miss him. Anyone? We good? We good, Sean?
Yes.
Okay, don't forget, April 21st, 7 o'clock, next meeting, we've got some important issues to continue to work through and to get done, so we don't see these things continually on the agenda. and I hope the generator gets moving and the roof. All right,
Amen.
Would you entertain a motion?
yeah,
Could I make a
Please.
motion to adjourn?
yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
I will second that motion at 7:40.
All right, and roll call vote, please.
Mike Fitzpatrick, aye.
Linda Brown, aye.
Sean Holland, aye.
Shirley Mazinski, aye, and Ginger.
Ginger, aye. She's
Thank you, everybody.